requirement that 1/3 of the members of Parliament have to be present for business of the House to continue. So in this case, the bells will ring for another 5 minutes for the members to come back to the House after the health break.
Yes, indeed, the House has so far considered.
Order. When business was suspended, the House was considering question number 223 on the order paper asked by the Honourable Member for Lufulu. And the Honourable Minister of Agriculture was about to respond to a supplementary question asked by the Honourable Member. May the Honourable Minister continue?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sorry about that technical delay. Mr. Speaker, the question was from Honorable Kolala, who was asking, who was indicating that there are no banks in Ngawe, therefore the surf is a problem, and he was also indicating that there is a lot of migration of farmers, and therefore there is need to increase the number on the FISIP figure. Mr. Speaker, I remember indicating to another honourable member of Parliament that I think one of our responsibilities as members of Parliament is to bring development to our areas, and development includes banking services. Madam Speaker, it is, I think, important that the honourable member speaks. Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry. Thank you, Honourable. Binwa Mpundu, I'm grateful. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I was indicating that it is our responsibility as members of Parliament to take development to our areas. I will be very happy to work with the honourable member to see if we can take a bank into Ngawe, not necessarily a bank that can have offices there, but a bank that can, even using technology, be operating in that area. Because without a bank, a lot of things will be difficult for us to take to Ngawe. So I'm happy that he has brought this issue up. There can be a mobile bank arrangement. There can be some banks which are very techno-savvy, which can, I think, operate in Ngawe without even offices there. In terms of the other issue that he talked about of migrating, people migrating, yes, Mr. Speaker, if there's a void in farmers' numbers, it will be filled by people who know how to cultivate. And all I can say is I have heard that because of the influx of farmers, the current figure on FISIP is insufficient and is appealing that we look at it. I have heard, Mr. Speaker. I'm not promising to increase the number, but I'll take it to the technocrats that we look at it. I thank you.
The Honourable Member for Chiengi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honourable Minister, thank you for the answers that you're giving. I heard that you're talking about FISIP being expensive, and it's the way, by introduction of SEF, it's a way of trying to phase out FISIP. But I want to find out what you've put in place to help people who are in the rural areas like Chiengi. Because as we speak, Mr. Speaker, it's very difficult for people of Chiengi to access SEF. They applied, and I think some have even forgotten about it. So I would like to find out which method are you going to use when you're phasing out this FISIP, and also making it possible for the people who are in the rural areas like Ngawe to access this SEF. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Agriculture.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you. I would like to thank the Honourable Member, Mrs. Given Katuta, for that question. Let me make it very, very clear, Mr. Speaker. I did not say we are phasing out FISIP. The FISIP which we know will run side by side with SAF. I think this has been an issue for a very long time. I want to repeat. We are not phasing out FISIP. What I have consistently said is that we are not going to grow the numbers. We will leave it at 1,024,434 farmers. You can have figures changing by locality. For example, 2 or 3 farmers can be added on Ngawe, but it will be within the 1,024,434. So we are not phasing out FISIP. I need to be very clear on this, Honorable Speaker. We are not phasing out FISIP. FISIP will run side by side with new support programs. In this case, SAF. And the SAF, let's not mistake it to be only for fertilizer and seed. It has mechanization, it has irrigation, it is going to have aquaculture, and it will have livestock. These are not time-bound. They are not time-based. You can apply for irrigation, you can apply for tractors, you can apply for aquaculture now. So it is not going to be based on the rainfall pattern. No, because that's what we as a ministry are trying to beat. We want farmers to have control on water and not rely on the rainfall only for their cultivation. So right now, encourage your constituents to apply for mechanization and irrigation with the banks, especially right now, Zanaco and Indobank. They are receiving these. And Access Bank, the manager was just telling me yesterday that they are also coming on board. So Access, Indo, and Zanaco, you can. Save, not save for now. We overran them with applications because they were the first ones who got involved. I hope I've made it clear, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Chipiri.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sorry to call you Madam. You're rocking my eyes as Madam Speaker. No, he's my cousin. I'm joking. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honourable Minister, I want to find out on SAF, is it the program of the government or the commercial banks? Because in your statement, the edit statement, you stated that it's not the government money, it's for the commercial bank. So I want to find out so that you can state whether the government does not give money to these commercial banks. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Agriculture.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to thank the Honourable Member for that question because it is of absolute importance. Mr. Speaker, the FISIP as we know it is 100% government. There is no private sector support. It's 100% supported by government. SAF is different. It is not. There is private sector money, and that is why the bank is involved. There is a percentage that the government supports, but there is a percentage that the banks support. Therefore, that is why it is important that you have to pay to the bank. It is important when you get on SAF, you have to pay. It is an affordable loan. It is an affordable loan which is given to you so that you pay back at low interest rates. So it is not government money on its own. There is a percentage of private sector money. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, recipients of SAF have to pay. The only ones who were excused from paying were those in areas where there was drought devastation. Anywhere else like your constituency, you have to pay. I thank you.
Next question, the Honorable Member for Kanchibia.
Mr. Speaker, question 224.
The Acting Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member of Parliament for Kanchibia, who has asked question number 224, where he wants to ask the Minister of Health in A, when the construction of Kawinga Health Centre in Kawinga Chiefdom will commence. In B, how many staff houses are earmarked for construction? And in C, whether a mortuary unit and solar power facilities will form part of the project. Mr. Speaker, the response. Government in A, government has included the construction of Kawinga Health Centre in Kawinga Chiefdom in the 2025 Ministry of Health Infrastructure Operational Plan. In B, Mr. Speaker, additional staff houses will be considered in the 2026 MOH Infrastructure Plan subject to availability of funds. And in C, Mr. Speaker, the design for a health center does not accommodate mortuary facilities, therefore will not form part of the project. However, the solar power will form part of the project in line with the presidential directive. I thank you.
Supplementary question, the Honorable Member for Kanchibia.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank the Acting Minister for Health for the elaborate question. With our indulgence, Mr. Speaker, allow me to firstly pay homage and welcome my new Minister for Muchinga Province, Honorable Simtowa, and we look forward to working closely with you. You have the support of the people of Kanchibia. Madam Minister, we are grateful that there's that assurance coming from government that Kawinga Health Centre will be constructed in the year 2025. This is the only chiefdom out of 4 in Kanchibia constituency without this sort of facility we're asking for. At the time of filing our question, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Minister, it was at a time when a mini hospital was defined as a health center. And so it was with that understanding that we brought that question. But we look forward to what the government is going to, the ministry is going to bring. And it's only the guarantee we would wish to get whether this facility will be constructed in the year 2025. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Acting Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for Kanchibia. Indeed, realizing that this question has partially appeared on the floor of the House before, the issue of declassification, so reclassification led to moving away from mini hospitals, because basically what was understood was that the facilities that were called mini hospitals were basically, by and large, health centers. So a reclassification has taken place. And so that's why you have a health center as against a mini hospital. And to the question as to whether this will be constructed in the year 2023, the ministry has provided for it in the operational plan that has been put in place. And I believe as it's done for all other facilities that are planned for, government is continuously seeking out the resources that are to go to those pieces of infrastructure that are planned for a particular year and move on with it. So government is obviously in the process of making available resources for this particular piece of infrastructure, like is happening in other constituencies. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Chama South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for your responses. Mr. Speaker, I'll ask a follow-up question in the context of Chama South. We have such a facility, Honorable Minister, at Mavinga Center or Chief Tembwezi Center. Unfortunately, there's a lack of water. It's already constructed, almost 100% complete, but there's no water and mortuary. Are you going to provide these facilities not only at the Tembwe Health Center, but also at the Kanchiwia, in the Kanchiwia constituency, where they are requesting for such an important facility, Honorable Minister? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I think you can engage with the Honorable Minister for that. She may not have an answer because it's a different question. Engage with her. Tomorrow you can go to the office and engage her. The Honorable Member for Mkushi South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister, you have said that you have an infrastructure plan for these health institutions. Are you able to share with us this infrastructure plan and for how long the period it is? Because you are only remaining with very few months before the Zambian people kick you out of government. So when do you intend to distribute this infrastructure plan?
Thank you. Similarly with the Honorable Member for Chama South, that's a different question altogether. If you need more clarity, engage with the Minister. The Honorable Member for Kanchiwia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister, thank you so much. Just for clarity purposes, the reclassification does not reclassify the size of the facility, does it? We want to know because in our minds would be imagining that what would get would be what looks like a mini hospital, but called the health center. So please just clarify what the reclassification, whether or not the reclassification is going to also affect the size of the facility. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
The Acting Minister of Health.
Mr. Speaker, I will provide a description so that the rest of the members and the nation can benefit from your very good question, Honorable Member for Kanchiwia. So, reclassification of health facilities, it says, which harmonized the classification of both public and private facilities conducted by the Health Professional Association of Zambia. The reclassification was premised on the need to ensure that facilities at the same level of care offer the same level of services regardless of the location of the facility, leading to specialized services to lower levels of care, which were previously only provided for at second and third levels. As a result, there was need to align the classifications of the Ministry of Health facilities, especially at primary health care level. The detail on the plan, the designs, I think, Honourable Member, you need to come to the offices for you to view that so that you are clear about what is coming through. I submit.
The Honourable Member for Chilovi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. People are talking about knocking off, Mr. Speaker. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, what I wanted to find out really, in December 2023, the minister then talked about the health center in this case being equivalent to a mini hospital. And then today we are talking about Kavinga. I know that those who don't know how close I'm to Kavinga would say that I'm just trying to ask a question that concerns Honorable Chanda. But Kavinga also is extended to Chirubi because I have a lot of people drowning, and I think one of the issues that was accommodated in C is a mortuary. And when you look at Chambeshi, where Kavinga passes through, we share the same commonality with the honorable member here. So it's important that we get it well, because what we need is Kavinga to be with the mortuary and other departments because of the inadequacies in terms of health facilities that are there. I wanted to really get that properly. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Maybe the Honorable Minister can comment.
Mr. Speaker, indeed it's noted that comment, but I would like to just give a little bit more information of what is pertaining across the constituency so that we have got a bigger picture and not in a silo. We're not debating, we're not having a silo debate. So this constituency has an array of facilities, and this government, as a caring government, understands very well that our people of Kavinga, the good people of Kavinga in Kanchiwia, have access to other facilities while this particular request or aspiration is being pursued. So, Mr. Speaker, Kanchiwia district, we know where it's located. It's a new district, decentralized now through the decentralization administrative functions being brought together. It's one of the newest districts. The district is largely rural and has a diverse population engaged in various sectors, particularly agriculture. In 2025, the 2025 infrastructure plan has also provided for a maternity annex and inpatient department. So these are some of the other elements that have been planned for, to just get the honorable member of Kanchiwia to appreciate that we are working together. The government is working with you. The government is working with the people of Kanchiwia. Mochinga province has 8 districts, of which 3 do not have first-level hospitals, Kanchiwia, Lavushmanda, Shiwangandu, but the districts are earmarked to have a first-level hospital, though not in the 2025 plan. The Mochinga province currently prioritizes the completion of the following, and these are very important. The Michael Chirufya Sata General Hospital is one of those prioritized, and the Mafinga District Hospital is one of the other ones, and the Tendele District Hospital, the Tendele is in Mafinga, but the Muyombe District Hospital is a third one. So Michael Chirufya, Mafinga's Tendele, and Muyombe's district, these are prioritized in that province over and above, so that we understand, we all know, the Zambian people know, the people of Kanchiwia know that their government, beyond this particular plan we are pursuing, is also providing for completion of other facilities that our people in Kanchiwia will benefit from. Mr. Speaker, many hospitals which have become reclassified as rural health centers, 4 rural health centers, 7 health posts, in total 16 health facilities are all being provided from the total budget funds as broken as follows. The total funds that will go to these projects. These are as follows: health center, 900 has been provided for. The maternity annex, 500,000 kwacha provided for. The IPD service block, 500,000 kwacha. The total all going to these pieces of health infrastructures, Mr. Speaker, comes to 1,950,000 kwacha for our people of Kanchiwia. So this, I thought to just provide this and create that understanding that we are working with our people of Kanchiwia. I thank you.
Thank you. The Acting Leader of Government Business Adjournment.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the House do now adjourn.
The question is that the House do now adjourn. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. The House is now adjourned.
Concluded. And before we end our live broadcast, we have a look at what has been discussed on the floor of the House today.
Yes, indeed. So business did resume at 14:30 hours, and Madam Speaker did make two announcements. In the first announcement, Madam Speaker did announce that she did receive communication to the effect that in the absence of one of the Vice President, who is attending to other government business, the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Honorable Jack Wimbo, MP, has been appointed acting leader of government business in the House from today, 25th February 2025, until further notice.
And Madam Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of visitors from Standing Up for the Boy Child Initiative Zambia in Lusaka district. On behalf of the National Assembly, she warmly welcomed the visitors.
Thereafter, we saw the House did consider 8 persons, and the other person was withdrawn by the Member of Parliament. Just now we go straight to look at some of the persons that were considered on the floor of the House today.
Yes, we had a question coming from Katombola Member of Parliament, Mr. Andeleki, and he directed his question to the Minister of Fisheries and Livestock, and he wanted to know when government will rehabilitate deep tanks that were not operational in Katombola parliamentary constituency as of August 2024, and how many deep tanks were earmarked for rehabilitation in 2024. And the last part of the question, what the estimated cost of the project is. And in response to this question, the Minister informed the House that the new Dawn administration has remodeled the approach in the provision of community livestock infrastructure such as deep tanks by making them community-driven and based on the needs of each community. He said that the issue at hand and the remodeled approach of government were clearly addressed on the floor of the House through a detailed ministerial statement that was presented to the House on 30th October 2024. The Minister has further stated that the statement addressed all questions relating to the deep tank, and that this question had put all matters related to the deep tanks to Katombola and other parts of the country to rest.
The other question did come from Mr. Francis Kampianga, Pika Constituency Member of Parliament. He did ask the Minister of Tourism whether the government has any plans to create community game ranch in Pika Parliamentary Constituency, and if so, when the plans will be implemented. And in response, the Minister did state that government indeed has plans to create a community game ranch in Pika Parliamentary Constituency, adding that this will be dependent on community members paying statutory fees to government.
And we had a question coming from Kanchibia, Member of Parliament, who directed his question to the Minister of Fisheries and Livestock. And in the first part of the question, he wanted to know whether government has any plans to conduct a cattle restocking exercise in Kanchibia parliamentary constituency, and if so, when the plans will be implemented, and if there are no plans, why. And in this, in response, the minister did indicate that the government had given Kanchibia constituency a total number of 11 dairy cattle and 104 goats. And second part of the question, when the plans will be implemented, the minister informed the House that the plans were implemented last year, actually the last quarter of 2024.
Thereafter, we did see Ms. Given Katuta, Chienge, Member of Parliament, did ask a question to the Minister of Infrastructure and Housing and Development. That's Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, rather. She wanted to find out when the construction of Mununga Police Station in Chienge District will commence in B, what the cause of the delay in constructing the project is, and the time frame for the completion of the project is. So the acting minister did say that Mununga Police Station District 2025 in completion of the project to the termination of the contract. And regarding the last question, which was the time frame for the completion of the project is, the minister did say that the project will be completed in 5 months' time.
And we had a question coming from Kamfinsa Member of Parliament, Mr. Christopher Kangombe, and he directed his question to the Minister of Mines and Minerals Development. And in the first part of the question, he wanted to know how many mining licenses were issued countrywide in 2022 and 2023. And part B of the question, of the licenses, how many were in the following categories: 1, small-scale mining, and 2, large-scale mining. And part C of the question, what measures the government had put in place to support the growth of small-scale miners who received their licenses during the period at A. And in response to this question, the minister informed the House that a total number of 32 mining licenses were issued in 2022, while 1,185 licenses were issued in 2023. And part B, how many were in the small-scale mining? The minister informed the House that a total number of 24 were issued to small-scale mining, and then 701 were issued in 2023. And large-scale mining, 8 were issued in 2022, while 484 were issued in 2023. And the measures the government has put in place to support the growth of small-scale miners who received their licenses during this period, the minister informed the House that the government had actually done formalization of artisanal and small-scale mining operations, and this is in order to promote the participation of local people in the exploitation of mineral resources in their respective areas. And also the government had actually facilitated access to capital equipment and also the market. So that was a response to question number 220.
The House was also expected to consider question 222, but the Member of Parliament standing in his place did seek permission in order for the question to be withdrawn, and the question was withdrawn. This was a question which was expected to be asked by Mr. Francis Kampianga Mpika, Member of Parliament.
And we also had one question from Kwacha Member of Parliament, Mr. Charles Mlenga. He posed his question to the Minister of Transport and Logistics, in which he wanted to know whether government has any plans to rehabilitate the Kalulushi Airport in Kalulushi District, and if so, plans why. And in response to this question, the Minister that in April, government transferred the facility to ZIF, and because it was this airport was not viable due to the proximity to the Simon Mwansa Kapwepwe International Airport.
Mr. Wesley Kola-Lalufovu, Constituency Member of Parliament, did ask the Minister of Agriculture on what measures the government is taking to enhance the availability of farming inputs in Lufovu Parliamentary constituency. And we did see the Minister highlight some of the measures that government is put in place. And some of the measures did include the early procurement of farming inputs to all the farmers.
Yes, so those are some of the answers to the questions that were on today's order paper, and bringing our live broadcast for today to the end of our live business. So we want to wish you a lovely evening. Remember that we come back again tomorrow with the committee meetings in the morning, and in the afternoon we have live proceedings of the House. So keep